We got to contour these to wind. Glue myself to the plane.
So we just got our stringer sanded and shaped. So I'm gathering up our fin fairings, as they call them, the sheeting to go on the back. So here in chapter 2 I'll be prepping the left side to be glued on, and then we'll follow up chapter 3 with gluing the left side fairing in place.
Getting the balsa wet so I can bend it easier, so it don't split on me. Warm water would be better.
Welcome to chapter 3. Alright, we're fixing to get this fairing glued in. You start by gluing the bottom side of the fairing to the fuselage, and then working your way up with gluing it as you shape it around your stringers and try to match it up to your vertical. However, it does say to apply a lightweight balsa filler to fill any voids, and we'll wind up doing that later on. As you'll see as we get in here, I will have some gaps between the sheeting and the vertical, which is already accounted for in your instructions, so we'll be filling that in later when we get to prepping it for the final covering and whatnot. Also, you want to make sure all your linkages are set up and there's no binding or anything like that, because once you close this thing in, you're going to catch heck trying to get to them. So make sure all your linkages and everything are working as they should. Here in chapter 4, we're going to be prepping the right hand fin fairing for installation, so we'll be wetting it down and getting it shaped as best we can before we start gluing it, and touch up any sanding that needs to be done on it to get it set in the way it should be.
Sometimes take the heat of your hand, help form it too. Just using my thumbs, kind of gently bending it, using the heat from my hands to soften the wood with the water. Other side, I know you couldn't see it, but the other side, it didn't turn out too bad. This is getting there. Ready to go on there almost. Getting a curve to it.
in chapter 5, we'll be gluing that right hand fairing in. As you see, we'll start with the bottom side, get it attached and let it set up, and once it takes hold, then we'll start forming it and shaping it up towards the vertical.
Glued my dang fingernail to myself. Damn it. Do.
Right here, I'm just flipping it over so I can get to that underside and weaken some thin CA to areas where I couldn't get to from above.
Got some filling and straightening to do back there, but basically watch the fan.
There's a ceiling fan right above me, that's why I was saying watch the fan. But here we are, chapter 6. We're going to close in that gap in the back. So what I came up with is I had some leftover 3/32 by 3/8 sticks from the wing. So because I did the sheeting, I didn't use those to cap the ribs. And so what I'm doing here is I'm just I'm gonna cut out a section where that'll fit in, and back there in the back, and then I'll shape it so it goes around the hinge or the bearing for the torque rod for the rudder, so it'll seal all that in real good, and I'll just lay that in there and glue it in, and then when we do the final shaping, we'll just shape it all in, blend it all in nicely so there's no gaps.
Now, once we sand it off and everything, you all good. Alright, this is what we did. And then we're moving on to this part here where we build the lower part underneath the horizontal stabilizer, blend it in with the fuselage.